Okay, OC fans, buckle up, because the past few months have been giving everything is fine until it suddenly isn't. Behind the glam smiles, there are big shifts, emotional curveballs, and a few moments that will have you rewinding like, wait, did that just happen? Today we're running through the latest updates across the entire Real Housewives of Orange County cast family changes, surprising life turns, and behind-the-scenes tension you can feel. Hit subscribe and let's get into it. For Heather Dubrow, the last 12 months feel like that very specific kind of Real Housewives season where everything looks polished on the surface. But the real story is what's happening in the quiet spaces between the glamorous scenes. On one side, it's celebration, big, bright, unmistakably personal. Heather is publicly savoring a milestone that hits differently for a mom, her daughter Katarina committing to Yale. The way it lands isn't just proud parent energy, it's a full-body moment. She shares it like you can practically see the room, the school colors, the perfectly arranged little details that say, this is real, this is happening, our kid is growing up. She's not vague about it either. She's loud with joy, calling it out with that unmistakable Heather intensity, the kind of pride that spills over because she's not just watching a dream unfold, she's watching her child step into a whole new life. But while that chapter is opening for Katarina, another one is closing for Heather and Terry, and it comes with a price tag big enough to make headlines. Their Beverly Hills estate goes on the market for $25 million, and the listing itself turns into a crossover moment. Josh Altman and Josh Flagg are involved, and Heather frames it with playful humor. How many Joshes does it take? Like she's winking at the absurdity of it all. Still, beneath the joke is a serious reality. This is a major home move, a major transition, the kind of change that reorganizes daily life even when you're smiling for a camera. And then there's the question people keep circling. Where are they actually living now? Heather addresses it directly around BravoCon, making it clear that even with the shifts and the selling and the time in Los Angeles, Orange County stays the anchor. Roots remain in Orange County. It's a simple line, but it's one that tells you how she wants the story understood. Yes, life is moving, but the center holds. At the same time, Heather is also doing something very modern, very deliberate, turning the way people talk about her marriage into something she can address on her own terms. With Between Us, she and Terry lean into couple content, humor, and honesty, and they don't just flirt with the rumors, they walk straight into them. In a clip shared publicly, Terry cracks, "I'm gay, right? Isn't that the latest rumor?" And Heather meets it with that calm, controlled confidence that says, we're not scandalized, we're just addressing it. It's not framed like a crisis. It's framed like noise. They refuse to let define them. Even the way Heather talks about money, image, and expectations shifts into something more relatable and surprising. On their podcast, she reveals she pays $59.99 for her RHOC Season 19 reunion dress after years of spending thousands. She doesn't present it as a downgrade. She presents it like a choice, like a line she's drawing in the sand. And when she jokes, "Do you know how much a container of milk costs?" it lands like a rare crack in the glossy facade. Heather, acknowledging the world outside the bubble and choosing to be a little more real about it. But the most emotionally piercing moment isn't about rumors or real estate or even career. It's about grief. On the show, Heather travels to Amsterdam to scatter her father's ashes in a canal near where he once lived. The scene isn't flashy. It's heavy, quiet, and deeply symbolic. She says her intention is to set him free, and then admits something softer, more vulnerable. She thinks she's setting herself free too. And in that instant, the storyline stops being Heather Dubrow, the public figure, and becomes Heather as a daughter, standing in a city filled with memory, letting go. If you zoom out, the pattern is clear. Heather is living in two worlds at once, celebrating the future, closing doors behind her, and choosing again and again to tell her story with her own voice. Shannon storms. Beador is stepping into this year with a very specific kind of energy. Not loud, not chaotic, just steady, intentional, and quietly determined. As the calendar turns, she's sharing a New Year family recap that feels less like a glossy postcard and more like a personal reset. The message is simple, but it lands with weight. She's grateful, she's grounded in family and friends, and she's choosing to start 2025 focused on the people who actually hold her up. It's the kind of post that reads like a deep breath after a long season of noise. And then, almost in the same breath, Shannon pivots into something unmistakably career-forward. She announces her appearance on Bravo's dating series, framing it as a fresh chapter, and openly hyping the premiere, calling out that it premieres April 27th. It's a clear signal that she's not hiding from the spotlight. She's walking straight back into it, but on different terms. The vibe isn't desperate or searching. It's more like Shannon is testing out what it looks like to show up for romance without shrinking herself for it. That theme gets even sharper when she's quoted talking about dating in 2025 with a boundary that feels like it's been earned the hard way. She describes her mindset as not molding my life around a relationship, and in one line, it sketches the emotional arc. She's open to love, but she's no longer willing to bend her entire world around it. If you've watched Shannon long enough, you can almost feel the shift: less pleading, more clarity. Less trying to be chosen, more choosing herself. But the last year also carries a very real, very concrete shadow that still follows her in public coverage. PE Opal reports that on May 25, 2025, Shannon is pulled over while on probation and is cited for using a handheld electronic device. It's not framed as a vague rumor or an insider whisper. It's specific, dated, and tied to the reality of her probation context. The effect is sobering. Even when she's trying to move forward, the world keeps checking the receipts, and every slip becomes a headline. Still, in the middle of all that scrutiny, Shannon keeps returning to the most consistent part of her identity: being a mom. On Mother's Day, she posts in a way that centers her daughters and the pride she takes in that role. Later, Thanksgiving lands with another family snapshot, and she adds one detail that makes it feel real: she's missing Stella. It's such a small line, but it changes the whole temperature of the moment. It's not just a holiday post. It's the ache of someone noticing who isn't at the table, even when the room is full. And as the year keeps moving, Shannon's presence stays visible in the Bravo universe. BravoCon moments, event appearances like Jeff Lewis's Chumpmas, and the sense that she's still very much part of the machine, but not swallowed by it. By the time she posts a finale night-style celebration for Love Hotel, it reads like the end of a chapter she actually survived. Then she closes out 2025 with another New Year message that circles back to her close circle, putting a soft, hopeful underline beneath everything. Whatever the last year tried to take from her, she's still here, still filming, still showing up, still holding tight to the people who feel like home. Over the past year, Tamra Judge's life feels like it's been lived with the volume turned all the way up, emotionally, publicly, and relentlessly. Nothing about this chapter is quiet. From the very beginning, it's clear she's carrying more than just the weight of reality TV drama. She's navigating real fear, loyalty, and exhaustion, all while the cameras keep rolling. Early in the year, Tamra's world tilts when her close friend Teddy Mellencamp faces a serious health crisis. Instead of filtering it through humor or deflection, Tamra goes straight to the heart. She asks for prayers publicly, her words urgent and stripped of performance. This isn't a storyline or a soundbite, it's a friend scared for someone she loves. Around the same time, Tamra admits the emotional toll is catching up with her. She says filming is breaking her down, that she's nearing what she calls full depressed mode, and for once, it doesn't sound like exaggeration. It sounds like someone who's run out of emotional padding. That vulnerability spills directly into her time on The Real Housewives of Orange County. During filming, tensions explode when the group labels Tamra the least trustworthy. The moment hits harder than expected. She breaks down, storms off, and announces she's quitting. Again, but this time it feels different. It's not playful, not defiant, it's raw. Around the same moment, she posts a blunt message online: "Peace out, I'm out." Writing that when life hands you real problems, reality TV suddenly makes no sense. Even Andy Cohen responds publicly, pointing viewers back to context. Tamra isn't just reacting to drama, she's drowning in real-life stress. As if that weren't enough, Tamra also finds herself at the center of a public backlash after comments about being on the spectrum. She later clarifies she does not have a formal diagnosis and opens up about how deeply the criticism affects her. She talks about therapy, trauma, and how exhausting it is to constantly be cast as the villain. There's a weariness in her tone, but also a need to be understood, to be seen as a full human, not just a reaction machine. And then comes the moment she never expected. Jennifer Lawrence, a self-proclaimed Housewives fan, publicly calls Tamra toxic. Instead of laughing it off, Tamra responds with visible hurt. She says it's unfortunate that people don't truly know her from an edited show and admits she once admired Jennifer. The sting is real and it lingers. Amid all of this chaos, Tamra still finds moments of grounding. In June, she celebrates her wedding anniversary with Eddie Judge, calling him her best friend. It's not flashy, it's steady. A reminder that even when everything feels unstable, something solid remains. Later in the year, she leans into lighter moments, traveling with the cast to Amsterdam, poking fun at fan speculation with a casual "it's not that deep," and sharing glimpses of holidays, events, and friendships that still bring her joy. By the end of the year, Tamra posts an emotional tribute to someone she calls a friend, soulmate, and sister, her words heavy with affection and meaning. It feels like a quiet declaration of what she's choosing to hold on to. This past year isn't about Tamra being louder, sharper, or messier. It's about a woman visibly tired of surviving everything on display, still standing, still showing up, but finally letting the cracks show. Vicki Gunvalson is back in a way that feels both emotional and unmistakably intentional. And over the past year, everything about her public presence points to a woman reclaiming her legacy in real time. For longtime fans of The Real Housewives of Orange County, the shift becomes impossible to ignore the moment BravoCon 2025 unfolds on stage. In front of a roaring crowd, Andy Cohen hands Vicki the orange again, a symbol she helped define, and asks her to return. Vicki doesn't hesitate. She accepts, visibly energized, and in that instant, the OG of the OC narrative stops being nostalgia and becomes present tense again. Almost immediately after that moment, Vicki leans into it publicly. On Instagram, she frames the return not as a surprise cameo, but as a celebration of longevity. She talks directly to fans, calling it Season 20, reminding everyone how long she's been part of this franchise and how deeply she's tied to its DNA. There's confidence in her tone, but also relief, as if something unresolved has finally snapped back into place. She's not testing the waters, she's planting her flag. She doubles down by weaving the comeback into her current media life. Through posts connected to her podcast, My Friend, My Soulmate, My Podcast, Vicki positions this return as part of a larger chapter, not just a television moment. It's clear she wants to control the narrative this time, to talk, explain, and reflect on her own terms. The message is subtle but firm. She's learned from the past, and she's stepping back into the spotlight with intention. Behind the scenes, the network framing reinforces that seriousness. Trade outlets describe her return as official and full-time, emphasizing that this isn't a trial run or nostalgia stunt. It's a casting decision tied directly to RHOC reaching a milestone season, and Vicki is treated as central to that celebration. Bravo itself leans into her history, openly acknowledging her role in building the show from the ground up. The language shifts from former housewife to something closer to foundational figure. Gretchen Rossi is back in the Orange County spotlight, and in the past year, everything about her energy feels like a woman stepping forward on purpose. By late January 2025, the return is no longer rumor or wishful thinking. It's treated as a real casting move, the kind that changes the temperature of a season the minute it's confirmed. And from there, Gretchen doesn't ease in quietly. She leans into the moment, like she knows exactly what it means to re-enter a world that never forgets. By early June, she is already speaking directly to the fans as the excitement turns into something concrete. She posts that RHOC Season 19 is here, and she calls out the premiere date, June 5, 2025, like it's an appointment everyone needs to keep. The tone isn't nervous, it's bold. It's that bright, here we go, confidence that feels both celebratory and slightly defiant, as if she's saying, I'm not just showing up, I'm showing you I belong here. But alongside the show energy, Gretchen's real life keeps moving in a way that feels tender and grounded. Just one day earlier, she shares a milestone with her daughter Skylar's kindergarten graduation. It's the kind of family moment that hits you in the chest because it's so ordinary and so huge at the same time. Gretchen describes Skylar leading the ceremony with a prayer, and you can almost picture it. A little kid standing tall in front of adults, steady voice, proud posture, the kind of bravery that makes a mom's eyes sting. Gretchen's pride is loud, and it's personal. She's watching time move too fast, and she's letting everyone see it. Then summer arrives, and Gretchen gives a glimpse of what life lately looks like for her when the cameras aren't the only thing in the room. On July 4, 2025, she shares a holiday recap at Bass Lake and even nods to the location outright. Yes, I went to Bass Lake, like she knows people will read meaning into everything. The message is warm and simple. A special day, family together, barbecuing, that familiar lake air, the feeling of a long weekend that's equal parts nostalgia and reset. But Gretchen's year isn't only soft moments and sunshine posts. The RHOC machine is running, and the drama is real, especially when it comes to the old wounds that never fully healed. By mid-2025, coverage around Season 19 highlights how quickly the Gretchen versus Tamra history snaps back into focus, because some rivalries don't fade, they just wait. Gretchen's name is attached to a headline-making trailer moment and a feud that's framed as decades old, the kind of conflict that doesn't need much oxygen to flare again. And when the conversation turns sharply personal, Gretchen's voice turns sharp too. In coverage that centers on a comment Tamra makes about Slade's Smiley, Gretchen responds with grief and fury in equal measure. She calls out the lack of compassion, and the words are cutting. She says that if someone can't show compassion in that moment, they don't have a soul. It lands like a door slamming, not because it's clever, but because it's raw. Because it comes from a place where the pain is real, and she refuses to let it be reduced to a punchline. As the season continues, Gretchen signals she's still playing offense when she posts a pointed statement addressed to receipts, choosing documentation and directness over letting online narratives run wild. And later, in October, she appears in full glam mode, reunion night energy, shout-outs to her team, a look that says she's ready to be seen again. By New Year's Eve 2025, she closes the year with gratitude, calling it a beautiful year, and the tone shifts once more, less battle-ready, more forward-looking, like she's done surviving quietly, like she's decided the next chapter is going to be written out loud. Over the last year, Jennifer Pedranti's life doesn't feel like it's moving in neat chapters. It feels like it's happening in pulses, big public moments, and then these quiet, almost startlingly raw admissions that slip through when the cameras aren't even the loudest thing in the room. By November 2025, Jennifer is right in the center of the Bravo whirlwind again, and she leans into it. She's at BravoCon with Ryan Boyajian, treating the weekend like a shared little universe. We coffee, we shop, we BravoCon, she writes, And the way she says it makes the relationship feel both ordinary and surreal at the same time. Like, yes, they're just being a couple, but they're doing it under neon lights and fan noise and constant recognition. She posed like she's still processing how big it all is. That's a WRA. BravoCon did not disappoint, she says, and you can almost hear the exhaustion underneath the excitement. The kind of tired you only get from being seen by thousands of people and still trying to stay emotionally present. But behind that sparkle, there's something heavier running through her. Around that same stretch of time, Jennifer talks openly about how wedding milestones with Ryan don't just bring joy. They bring a strange guilt she can't shake. She describes feeling uneasy, and even like a fraud, because the rituals and the celebrations pull on the part of her that still feels responsible for how her first marriage ended. It's not a dramatic accusation, it's a confession, and it lands like one because it's so human. The idea that you can be happy and still feel haunted by the road that brought you there. And then, the family side of Jennifer's life keeps cutting straight through the glamour with a sharper kind of emotion. In late September 2025, there's a moment with her daughter Everly that's tender in the way it hurts. Everly admits it feels weird, seeing her mom with someone who isn't her dad, and Jennifer doesn't brush it off or turn it into a soundbite. She validates it, acknowledges the discomfort, while still holding her own future in place. The same season of life includes Jennifer sharing a proud mama moment. When Everly joins her for a confessional interview, a small detail that says everything about what she's trying to do now: blend her world, not split it. Even her lighter updates carry that same sense of a life that's constantly shifting. In mid-December 2025, she drops a playful reveal that her new neighbors are Jacqueline, Larita, and Chris, literally one street over. And it's the kind of detail that feels fun on the surface, but also says something deeper. Jennifer's circle is changing, her environment is changing, and she's letting people see it happen in real time. And then there are the moments that remind you how quickly things can harden into controversy. In August 2025, backlash swirls around a now-deleted clip involving Jennifer and Gretchen Rossi that some viewers see as stereotyping Asians. The clip disappears, but the reaction doesn't, and it becomes one more example of how a few seconds online can follow you long after the post is gone. Through all of it, Jennifer moves like someone trying to hold two truths at once. She's visible, she's celebrated, she's back in the RHOC spotlight, and she's also doing the hardest part quietly, which is being a mother and a partner while carrying the weight of what came before. Over the last year, Gina Kersinhider's life feels like it's balancing on two very different edges at once: the quiet, intimate weight of real family emergencies and the loud, pressure cooker intensity of Orange County friendships that can turn on a dime. In March 2025, that private world crashes into public view in the most sobering way. Gina shares that her ex-husband, Matt Kersinhider, the father of her kids, has a heart attack at just 40. She calls the weekend scary, and you can almost hear how quickly a normal day flips into hospital lights, racing thoughts, and that stunned feeling of realizing how fragile everything is. She gives Britt credit for getting him to the hospital, thanks to doctors and nurses, and the message lands like a blunt reminder: whatever the history, whatever the mess, this is family. This is the kind of moment that reorders priorities without asking permission. And then, almost immediately, the life goes on. Part arrives, except it's not shallow or casual. It's structured around survival, routines, and choices that add up. By early 2025, Gina and Travis Mullen are making a major decision together as they step into the new year, framed around lifestyle and diet. It's not presented as a flashy reinvention. It reads more like two people deciding they can't just talk about feeling better. They have to actually do something about it. That thread keeps going into June 2025, when Gina posts a wellness-focused update and tags it with "healthy body, healthy mind," even referencing vertigo. It's the kind of small detail that makes the whole thing feel more real, because it suggests this isn't a vague new me era. It's a specific body, with specific symptoms, trying to get steady again. And around the same time, she shares a simple family milestone: school's out for summer. Celebrating the moment with the kids and Travis in the frame, like she's underlining what she's protecting. Not perfection, just the life they've built and the everyday relief of making it to the finish line of another school year. By mid to late 2025, the story sharpens into something bigger than vibes and captions. Gina is back under one roof with Travis, and the way it's described isn't just romantic, it's logistical and emotional. A blended household is noisy. It's schedules, personalities, and space issues that don't magically disappear because you love someone. She talks about what it's really like living together again, and another detail stands out. The kids' relationships are deepening to the point where they feel like siblings. That's not a soundbite. That's a marker of stability, and it's also a kind of vulnerability. Because when kids bond like that, the stakes of every adult decision get higher. But while Gina is building a steadier home life, the RHOC world is still volatile. In August 2025, she goes public with a strong statement about boundaries, saying the cast feels unsafe around Katie Ganella and calling alleged recording behavior icky and violating. It's not playful shade, it's about trust, and the kind of line you draw when you feel the social game has crossed into something darker. And as the season moves forward, Gina is right in the center of the tension, confronting what she sees as fake friendship optics and demanding something real, even when it makes everything messier. Taken together, Gina's year doesn't feel like one neat storyline. It feels like a woman trying to keep her footing, protecting her family, tending to her health, building a home that actually works, and still stepping into the bright, unforgiving spotlight where every relationship comes with consequences.